Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to DC TechNet. At DC TechNet, we experiment, experience, and we are passionate to share our experiences with everyone, and we also like to do something different. So do like, share, and subscribe. It will not take more than 2 seconds to click on the subscribe button. So let's see what we have today. So we are pleased to start a quiz on FSMO roles, and this quiz will be from say basics of FSMOs to say questions, basics to scenario based complex questions on FSMO roles. So today will be the part 1, and today we'll be just dealing with some basic questions on FSMO roles. But as this series progresses, we will continue with say some scenario based complex questions on FSMO roles. So let us understand the pattern of this quiz. The pattern is very simple. We'll have a question and then we'll have some options. And then we'll reveal the answer with the explanation why that answer is correct. So this is the pattern of this particular quiz. So let's get ahead. So question number 1. Name the FSMO role responsible for keeping the track of cross-domain references. Name the FSMO role responsible for keeping the track of cross-domain references. And the options are A. PDC emulator, Schema Master, RID Master, Global Catalog Server, and the Infrastructure Master. So which FSMO role is responsible for keeping the track of cross-domain references? And the correct answer is Infrastructure Master. So let us understand some basics of Infrastructure Master. So the Infrastructure Master FSMO is a domain-wide role. It means only one domain controller is designated as an Infrastructure Master in the domain. And there's only one function of Infrastructure Master, that is keeping the track of cross-domain references. Now, if you want to know more about how does the Infrastructure Master keeps track of cross-domain references, we have a detailed video on the channel on say Infrastructure Master, where we have say summarize everything related to Infrastructure Master, how Infrastructure Master works in the backend, and why it is a single master say in the entire forest. So I'll highly recommend you to watch this video on Infrastructure Master. So let's move ahead. Question number 2. Name the FSMO role that is considered as a time server for the enterprise. And the options are RID Master, Infrastructure Master, PDC emulator, Domain Naming Master, and Schema Master. So the FSMO role that is considered as a time server for the enterprise. And the answer is PDC emulator. So there are many functions of PDC emulator, and one of the functions is PDC emulator acts as a time server for the domain. So let us see how time synchronization works in a domain, or how time is synchronized in the entire domain. So we have contoso.com domain, and we have a site or an office in London, and we have a domain controller in London office named London DC, and we have some workstations, some servers in our London office. They are obviously domain joined. Same thing, we have an office in Seattle, and we have a domain controller named Seattle DC. We have servers, workstations which are domain joined over there as well. We have same setup in Dubai. We have Dubai DC. We have same setup in Sydney. So there's a domain controller named Sydney DC, and some workstations, servers, desktops which are domain joined. Now our London DC is our PDC emulator. So what happens is, all the other domain controller in the entire domain will sync up its time with London DC. So London DC's time is considered as the supreme authority. Okay, no one can go beyond it. So everyone will sync up their clock with London DC. This will help in time synchronization in the entire domain. So this is how time gets synchronized in the entire domain. That's the reason we have a single master who will keep up the time for the entire domain, and that is our PDC emulator. So this is how the time sync works. Now, if you want to know more about time synchronization in an Active Directory forest, this was for the domain. If you want to know more about, say, how time synchronization happens in a forest, again, we have a video on PDC emulator which will explain all the functions of PDC emulator, including the time synchronization, how time synchronization happens in the world of Active Directory forest now. Okay, and it will be a complete graphical representation. So I will again recommend you to watch this video on PDC emulator. So let's move ahead. Question number 3. Name the FSMO role that is responsible for addition and removal of domains in the forest. Option A, Infrastructure Master, Domain Naming Master, PDC Emulator, RID Master, and Schema Master. So, which FSMO role is responsible for addition and removal of domains in a forest? And the answer is Domain Naming Master. So I'll just walk through the basics of Domain Naming Master. Again, it's a forest-wide role. Means only one domain controller is designated as a Domain Naming Master in the forest, and only one function, addition and removal of domains in Active Directory forest. So let us see the role of Domain Naming Master while adding a new domain in the forest now. So we have a forest, contoso.com, and we have two domains, contoso.com and east.contoso.com. And definitely we'll have some domain controllers in both the domains. And this is our Domain Naming Master. Now the Domain Naming Master will have a list of all the domain names in its domain. So it will have contoso.com and east.contoso.com. Now we have Windows admins or systems admins. So there was a task that was asked to us to build a new domain in this contoso.com forest. So what we did, we brought in a Windows server, we installed Active Directory Domain Services, and while promoting it to a domain controller, a time came and we need to select the option. So we know the end result was to bring in a new domain in this contoso.com forest. So we selected the option new domain in an existing forest, and we clicked on next. So after clicking on next, it asks us for the name for that new domain. So we provided south.contoso.com and we clicked on next. So as soon as we clicked on next, this query went to domain naming master. Now remember, the new domain does not exist. Okay, it's not yet formed. The query goes to domain naming master. The domain naming master will verify in its list if this name is present or not. If this name is present, it will not allow us to create a new domain with this particular name. But in our example over here, south.contoso.com is not present in its list. So it will allow us to create a domain with the name south.contoso.com, and it will also update its database by adding south.contoso.com. So this is the role of domain naming master in adding a new domain in the Active Directory forest. So if you want to know more about the role of domain naming master while removing or decommissioning an existing domain from the forest, I would highly recommend you to watch this video on domain naming master, where we have explained addition and removal in detail in graphical manner, and the functions of domain naming master. Question number 4. Password changes done by other domain controllers in the domain are first replicated on dash. Password changes done by other domain controllers in the domain are first replicated on a dash. And the options are infrastructure master, domain naming master, PDC emulator, RID master, and schema master. And the answer is PDC emulator. So functions of PDC emulator again. So any security related change on any other domain controller will be first replicated to, say, PDC emulator domain controller. The reason is PDC emulator is the supreme authority for any security related conflicts. So if any password, any security related conflict, it will come down to PDC emulator. He is responsible for solving all the security related conflicts. This is one of the tasks. There are many tasks of PDC emulator. And if you want to know more about PDC emulator, we have a detailed video on PDC emulator. Just request you just watch this particular video. Question number 5. Why the Schema Master is called as Schema Master? So 10-15 years ago, I was asked this question: why the Schema Master is called as Schema Master? So let us find the options. Option A, it is the only domain controller that holds Active Directory schema. All the other domain controllers do not hold Active Directory schema. Option B, it is the only domain controller that is present in every domain and has read-write copy of Active Directory schema. Option C, it is the only domain controller in the entire forest that has read-only copy of Active Directory schema. Option D, it is the only domain controller in the entire forest that has read-write copy of Active Directory schema. And option E, it is the only domain controller in the forest that holds global catalog and Active Directory schema. So these are the 5 options why the Schema Master domain controller is called as the Schema Master. So the correct answer is, it is the only domain controller in the entire forest, a single domain controller. It's a forest-wide rule, Schema Master, which has read-write copy of Active Directory schema. Rest all the domain controllers in the entire forest will have read-only copy of Active Directory schema. That's the reason it's called as a Schema Master. And again, we have a detailed video on, so almost say 16 minutes video on Schema Master, and we have explained what is schema first of all and who is a Schema Master. So this is a very detailed video on Schema Master. I will again highly recommend you to watch this. So let us summarize, say what we have seen today. So we have started a new series on FSMO quiz. Today were some basic questions on FSMO rules, just 5 basic questions on FSMO rules. And as this series progresses, we will be dealing with some scenario-based complex questions in this particular series in our upcoming parts. So thank you for joining today. Hope you have enjoyed it. So if you feel this channel is helping you to learn anything new, do like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to start learning and sharing your knowledge with others. Thanks for joining again and enjoy your day.